It started like any other Sunday. Nothing seemed out of place. The scent of clean laundry lingered in the air, coffee steam curled from our mugs, and a soft melody played from her phone. We were folding clothes together, one of those quiet, domestic moments that usually brought a strange sort of comfort. Then she said it, as casually as if she were talking about the weather. Sometimes I think I should have ended up with Daniel instead. I didn't react right away. I actually waited for her to laugh, to flash that crooked smile she used when she was joking. But she didn't. Her eyes stayed on the towel in her hands, her voice flat, like she was thinking out loud, not realizing what she'd just set loose. I turned to her, stunned. "What did you just say?" She looked up, met my eyes without a flicker of hesitation. "I just think things might have been simpler. He made me feel understood. He was driven. He never settled like this." She motioned vaguely around us, our home, our shared life, the quiet world we'd built piece by piece. Her words stripped the warmth from that space in an instant. I didn't respond. Couldn't. There was a tightness in my chest, something winding itself so tightly it hurt. I walked away, went downstairs, trying to convince myself I'd misheard, misread, made too much of it. But she never followed. Never tried to explain or walk it back. Not a single word. That night, I slept on the couch. Not because she told me to, but because the distance between us had become something I couldn't step over. I lay there thinking about Daniel, wondering how many times she'd silently compared me to him. Daniel, the college heartthrob, all charm and ambition, the guy who left her heartbroken when he vanished post-graduation for a job overseas. She had once cried into my chest over him, shaking with grief. And yet now, years later, in the middle of folding laundry, she tells me he might have been the better choice. Something in me shifted after that day. I became quieter, stayed longer at work. Some nights I'd sit in the car outside our house with the engine running, just trying to summon the energy to walk through the front door. She noticed. She asked what was wrong. I said nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It was the slow unraveling of intimacy, not with shouting or drama, but with withdrawal. I stopped sharing my thoughts. The small talk disappeared. I laughed less. So did she. Dinner became a mechanical routine, two strangers chewing in silence. And always, somewhere in the back of my mind, Daniel's shadow lingered, a man who hadn't even been around in years but still somehow felt closer to her than I did. Then came the night she came home late, way past dinner. No text, no call. I waited. When she finally walked through the door around 10, she looked uneasy, jumpy. Said she'd met an old friend for drinks. She didn't have to say his name. Was it him? I asked. She nodded. I didn't yell. Didn't accuse. I just walked into the bedroom and quietly packed a bag. Not out of rage, but because I had nothing left to give. Maybe, I told her, you need to figure out what you really want. She opened her mouth like she wanted to respond, but I stopped her. I'm not angry, I said. I'm just done. And I left. No fight. No storm. Just silence. I stayed with a friend for a while. Then found a place of my own. She called a few times. Sent a message trying to explain. Said I took it the wrong way. But I didn't respond. And in that silence, something unexpected settled over me. Relief. Loneliness. Yes. But also freedom. I started waking up early again. Going for runs. Cooking my own food. Slowly, I began to remember who I was before I shrank myself to fit into her life. I realized how long I'd been trying to be enough for someone who always seemed to be looking beyond me, chasing something shinier. Months passed. I filed for separation. No bitterness. No shouting. Just distance. Then one day, out of the blue, she showed up at my door. She looked worn down, like someone who'd been doing a lot of thinking. She said she'd seen him again. Said they barely spoke, just passed each other. Said he hadn't changed, still charming, still chasing dreams he couldn't hold on to. Then her voice cracked. Her eyes welled up. I was wrong, she said. I thought I wanted something exciting. I wanted to feel desired. But what we had was real. You were steady. You stayed. And I broke that. And I believed her. I really did. But sometimes clarity arrives too late. Because by the time someone finally recognizes your worth, you've already learned how to stand without needing their approval. I didn't hate her. I couldn't. But I wasn't the same man who stood in that laundry room months ago, waiting for her to take it back. I'd changed. I didn't want to go back to the version of myself who kept trying to prove he was enough. So I said, I'm glad you see it now. But I'm not coming back. She sank to her knees on my doorstep, sobbing. I didn't slam the door. I closed it gently, not out of anger, but with peace. For the first time, I wasn't holding on. I was finally choosing myself.